This is a video I never thought in a million years I would be making right now, but in a weird way, I almost knew that this was coming, and maybe some of you did as well, or maybe some of you are going to be very shocked by this. Today, I dropped out of college. Exactly an hour ago, I signed the paper that said I would no longer be enrolling at Chico State, and if I wanted to reattend, I'd have to reapply because it's less than 4 weeks into the semester. Therefore, I was able to withdraw, basically wiping my transcript clean as if I never even went here. I still have to pay the percentage of the classes I attend, like 22%, but I got out and I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain what got me to this point, my experience with college overall, why I honestly feel that this was the best decision for me. This has been a really weird past month for me. 2018 has been weird. I don't know if a lot of you guys feel that way, but I feel like pretty much everything that could have possibly went wrong has gone wrong. And I don't mean that to sound super negative. It was almost as if the universe was telling me I shouldn't be in school. These weren't things that I was deciding to have happen on my own. They were circumstances way outside of my control. Obviously, it was my decision to actually drop out of school, but I didn't foresee this happening. I wasn't trying to get to this point. I did genuinely try to stick it out, and I'm just gonna basically talk all about that. And also, if you guys did see my 2018 yearly predictions video I did with my astrologer friend Victoria, she literally said this was going to happen.
You'll probably drop out of school.
When?
Spring. It's almost a shame you have to waste 2 years in school. You may decide that it's not for you.
And I'm so shook because when she said that, I was like, yeah, I've never been super big on school, but like, I'll stick it out. It's fine. I'm moving to Chico. Like, of course, I'm obviously gonna finish. I'm not just gonna start my classes and then drop. I genuinely thought that maybe I could like change the predictions that she had made and what she was able to see, because there is also something called free will with astrology. So yeah, I could have not dropped out of classes today, but everything happens for a reason. I do have my associate's degree. As you guys know, I just moved to Chico as a transfer student to get my bachelor's. You know, I live in a college town. I don't even go to school. Wow, I'm 3 minutes into this video and I just realized I never said hey alligators. So what's up alligators? It's Allie Hardesty. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Make sure that you subscribe. Also turn on post notifications by hitting that bell button twice right next to the subscription box. You guys are gonna be getting a lot more videos from me now since I'm gonna have a lot more free time. And let me just backpedal. 2018 has been pretty much a shit show. By this time, you may be caught up on some of the things in my life. Otherwise, you'll hear about them later in other videos, but I'm just gonna do like a general recap. Going into this year, I moved to Chico. I set up my new apartment. My dad came out to visit and we furnished the place, and then I had school starting, and right when school started, I got really sick. I had that virus that was going around that like people have literally died from and schools have shut down from and things like that. Didn't eat for 5 days, couldn't get out of bed, and I still had to show up for my classes so they wouldn't drop me. And that was absolutely miserable. Like, I was so sick, I felt like I was dying. And as you guys know, I have severe ADHD, which makes it extremely hard for me to concentrate in school as it is, and I take medication for it. I take Concerta, the highest dose that you can get prescribed for that. And with Concerta, you're not really supposed to drink alcohol, mix other substances, that sort of thing, because your heart rate will go crazy. Like, if you don't have ADHD, people will use this recreationally to get high. During this week of being sick, I was taking Mucinex D, which you have to get behind the counter because there is an active ingredient which people use to make drugs out of. Also, other antibiotics, steroids, fluticasone, etc. I was just on so many different things to try to get better, and it wasn't working. So I ended up taking more than I should have, and it wasn't even really on purpose. I'm going to talk about all this in a separate video because this was such a crazy experience. I thought I was gonna die. I ended up collapsing, having a seizure, possibly a mild heart attack, was hallucinating. They call this a DMX trip or robo-tripping, I believe. People who, you know, try to do this on purpose by taking too much cold medicine or Mucinex D. I was looking up things on Reddit afterwards, and the amount that you're supposed to take to trip was like so low as compared to everything that was in my system. And I'm just extremely lucky to not be in a worse state than I am right now. Since then, I had to go see a psychiatrist, a cardiologist to check on my heart, and I'm still seeing a cardiologist. I actually have an appointment tomorrow. And a psychiatrist told me that I have severe anxiety, and she could not believe that I had never been diagnosed with this. So throughout my life, as I mentioned, I've always had ADHD, and I guess a lot of the things that I associated with my ADHD were actually symptoms of anxiety as well. For example, with my ADHD, it's very easy for me to forget things, so I'm constantly making to-do lists and writing things down. And I will get myself so anxious thinking I'm going to forget something. That's anxiety. Or when I'm trying to focus and concentrate on something, which is hard for me because of my ADHD, my anxiety is just worrying about all these other things I need to do and that I'm going to forget about, which which makes it even harder for me to focus having ADHD. So the two basically go hand in hand, and I will talk about this as well in another video, because realizing that I've had anxiety my whole life has actually made a lot of sense, and I can't believe I didn't realize this sooner. My psychiatrist was telling me that I have extreme panic attacks, and I was like, no, I just freak out sometimes. And she was like, no, what you are describing to me is a panic attack. I would tell her how I couldn't see straight, I felt like I was gonna pass out, hyperventilating, and like describe all the symptoms. And I never knew that when I would get like that, those were panic attacks, because nobody had ever told me. I hadn't been to a psychiatrist in years, because once I was diagnosed with ADHD and I found the medication that worked for me, that was just basically it. This was like a really traumatic experience for me, and I needed to get on anxiety medication, not just because I have anxiety, but also because like the aftermath of the overdose was giving me terrible anxiety, like through the roof. It wasn't even normal. Like I needed to be medicated immediately. And I promise I'm gonna get into how this relates to school. My body has always been extremely sensitive to basically anything. I could take Benadryl and pass out for days, like not wake up. If I sit on the grass, I'll get a terrible allergic reaction and have hives all over my body. Since I was an infant, it has always been this way. I could take a super small dose of something and it'll affect me differently than anybody else. And I have been through the ringer in the past with pharmaceutical medications, which I want to make an entire video on. I was hospitalized my freshman year, and because of that, I was put on a bunch of different medications, diagnosed with things that I did not have. I feel like sometimes doctors don't take the time to really get to know you and the root of the issue before labeling you and prescribing you meds that, you know, can make people go crazy if they're not used properly. If you're taking something that is not meant for your brain chemistry because you don't really have that diagnosis, it's gonna mess with you. You're gonna have terrible side effects, and medication is just something that you should be really cautious with in general, even if you do have the thing that you're being treated for. I've had medications I was put on in high school that made me gain a bunch of weight, lose a bunch of weight, that have made me suicidal, that have made me extremely anxious, or like literally sleep for days on end and not wake up. So I was nervous to get on anything for anxiety. And she was like, it's fine, we'll start you at this low dose. I was taking this one for every morning, and then this other one 1 to 3 times a day as needed. I was like, okay, cool. I take the medication, and I was only on it for 2 days. The first day, it got pretty bad towards the end of the day, and I thought that it was the one that I was taking as needed. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take this again. It's making me super paranoid, making me feel weird. But the other one, I don't know, like, I don't think it's really affecting me yet. So I took the morning medication the second day, and I went into psychosis. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically where you're having super irrational thoughts, extremely paranoid, like you think people are out to get you. And I had the feeling of bugs literally crawling in my stomach, like eating me from the inside out. Like it was the scariest feeling. I had basically lost touch with reality completely. My body reacted so bad to this stuff, I couldn't even tell you. And it's scary because it was such a low dose. And I think, well, now I realize a lot of that was probably due to all the medications and things that had already been in my system causing me to overdose. So like I really shouldn't have been just taking new medications. I should have gave my body a break, but my anxiety was so bad, I needed something. And when this was occurring, I was on my way to school. Keep in mind, I've already been to school this entire time while I was sick, while I had the overdose experience. I was having heart problems going to class. I obviously can't focus. I obviously have other things that I can't help but worry about. I was a wreck. Like I wasn't able to do anything but lay in my bed and think I was gonna die after this and book different doctor's appointments. Like there was nothing I could really do but like try to live the life that I had intended to live moving to Chico. I was really getting behind in school really fast. That same day I had an academic accommodations meeting set up through the school for disabilities, because I've always had that for my ADHD because it is that crippling. Sometimes I'll get extra time on tests and things like that, and so this is something new to me. Sitting in this meeting, I kid you not, I had a mental breakdown. I started crying. I was like, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm gonna die. I overdosed on this and anxiety. I never knew I had anxiety before. It was just ADHD. So now I don't know what kind of accommodations I'll need for this. I don't even know what kind of medication I'm going to be on for this, because I'm clearly not gonna take this stuff anymore. And I had an emergency appointment that day with my psychiatrist after school and after the meeting to like go obviously get off the medication and try something else. I put my mom on speaker to talk to him because I couldn't understand anything he was saying. I could not focus at all. This medication was making my ADHD so much worse, on top of having the absolute worst side effects. And it wasn't just like me going crazy type stuff. Like I felt like I was gonna throw up. I just felt dizzy and weird. Figured out that a lot of the accommodations I would be needing that like I truly felt would help me and get me through the semester were not going to be available to me. For example, they have a writing center at Chico State, which is awesome. You can basically get free help to write your papers, and you can only go twice a week. All the classes that I was enrolled in, you basically had papers due like every week, every other week. So I'd already went twice that week for the paper, and I had barely gotten anything done. Like the amount of work that I got done both times there, which were like an hour each, was maybe the work that somebody else would get done in 10-15 minutes, because it takes me that long to do things with school, because I have to really focus and understand and have things explained to me like 10 different times before before I really get it and am able to go. They weren't gonna allow me more time in the writing center, things like that. Like I still wasn't really going to get benefits that like I felt were necessary to help me, let alone get my bachelor's degree. So I was already feeling super discouraged, went to my psychiatrist after that, told her everything that happened with the medication, and she was like, hell yeah, you're never taking this again. And so now I am on Xanax, but it's 24-hour extended release and it's only 0.5 milligrams. I know that a lot of people can get addicted to that kind of stuff, and this is like the safest, lowest dose possible, and I just take it before I go to bed. And this also helps me sleep because you guys know I have really bad insomnia, which is associated with my ADHD and the concern that I take for that as well. So it actually has been working for me. I may not be taking that forever. We're just gonna see how it goes, but it has been helping me manage my life in this extremely stressful, crazy time because my heart has been irregular and we're trying to figure that out. Now you're kind of caught up on my health, which was taking a huge toll on school for me because when I was there, I wasn't there. Like I could not focus. I was having the worst anxiety possible, everything piling up. On top of how difficult school already is for me and always has been, this is where it got worse. By the time this video comes out, the video talking about this should already be out. My best friend from high school got in a really bad car accident. He lost a leg above the knee. A lot of his bones are broken. I mean, he's very lucky to be alive. He's currently hooked up to a form of life support helping him breathe. By the time this video goes out, he could be totally awake, in recovery, and he's gonna be okay. But this is somebody who means so much to me. I seriously consider him like family. His family has been like a second family to me. Literally anyone who went to high school with me and knows this person knows that was my best friend. They know that me and him hung out every single day, and I'm feeling a lot better and a lot more hopeful now that I've been able to do all the GoFundMe stuff. But I couldn't get out of bed. I missed a day of school because of that. I showed up for one of my classes and left crying. It was just really bad timing for something to happen on top of everything else. I was like, I just can't do this. Like, why am I in school right now? There are so many factors working against me, and this is still not all the reasons why I dropped out. I'll talk more. I was just like, I want to be able to focus my time on the things that matter to me, and right now school is just not a priority. I have to wake up at the crack of dawn and get to school hours earlier before my class just to maybe find parking, and then most likely still get a parking ticket, which I have, even though I purchased like the $200 student parking where you can only park in certain spots and like they're never available, they're always full. With my ADHD and everything else already going on in my life, not to mention the workload I have and other things like grocery shopping, once in a while catching some sleep, showering, you know, like I couldn't manage everything, juggle everything because there's all these extra things being thrown onto me. Obviously I want to support my friend, and also I need to be taking care of my health. I can't just be neglecting that and not sleeping at night to stay up late doing papers, trying to like hire tutoring sessions outside of the writing center because I'm only allowed to go there twice a week, on top of all the cardiologist appointments, psychiatrist appointments, etc. because I have this newly diagnosed anxiety disorder that's actually really severe, and I had the reaction that I did to the overdose, so I don't know if my heart's okay. I've had to book appointment after appointment and schedule all these things, and like my life has been so penciled this past month, on top of my mental health and my physical health not being okay, and what has happened to my friend and me trying to deal with that and cope with that. It's been a lot. I'm so thankful that I got my associate's degree before transferring here, but for me to get a bachelor's, that's a long road ahead of me. And during all this health stuff, I already dropped one of my classes because it started late, so I technically wasn't really full-time anymore. I was taking 9 units, and I knew it was going to take me a lot longer than 2 years to get my bachelor's. And obviously you guys could sit here and say, well, making videos shouldn't be a priority. I can't just like neglect my YouTube channel because I just don't want to. At the end of the day, this is my life and I want to do what makes me happy, and what makes me happy is doing YouTube, and it's my livelihood. Like, this is important. I need to be paying my bills and things like that. I can't just put this on the back burner even if I did want to. Like, that's just not an option for me. So that is something else that I need to do, and my life has just been extremely chaotic, extremely hectic, extremely stressful, and I don't feel like at this point in my life, after getting an associate's, you know, it makes sense for me to be in school anymore. During that time, yes, it did. YouTube was full-time for me pretty early on, but I didn't have Patreon at that time. I wasn't getting tipped on things like YouNow. I didn't have the following that I do now to have opportunities to create merchandise. I wasn't as knowledgeable with how YouTube works and the algorithm and getting sponsorships, etc. Like, it was all a learning process for me, and now I'm at a point where I have the tools and I have the following and I have the stability in my life, and you just can't chase two rabbits. Most people are in school because they want to be able to do something similar to what I'm doing or work for somebody. Like, they want to be a doctor, they want to, you know, be a teacher. I was a communications major. There was absolutely nothing I intended on doing with that. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't like I had a career goal in mind. I just wanted to continue to do what I've already been doing. I just felt like school was making it so that I was very limited on what I could do with the platform that I have and the opportunities in front of me. I don't mean this in any way. It's just the reality of it. And I'm sure a lot of YouTubers who maybe are in school could agree. Most of my friends in college, they live with roommates or they get support from their parents and they go out on the weekends. Their life is pretty much focused on school. I have a full business to run, like a full-time business. I don't like to go out and party and get blackout drunk. Like, I don't have time for that, even if I wanted to. I would seriously much rather focus on making videos. I'm at the point where I really want to hire an intern. I am just not in the same position as most people in college. A couple years ago, getting my associates, yeah, I could relate more with like other college people, I felt like, because it wasn't to the extent of where it's at now. I just live a very different life than other college kids, and it wasn't always like that. And if I ever want to go back to school, I can. When I first started college, I was in the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I was an active volunteer, and I got accepted before the age of 21, which like doesn't happen. They made an exception for me. And I only got to do like one radiothon. I never even got to sponsor a kid because I just couldn't do it with school. My time did not allow it. My schedule wouldn't permit it. So now I'm able to do things like that. I'm able to finally use the passport that I got and travel overseas. I'm able to get sleep at night, focus on my mental health and like managing my anxiety and things like that, which like honestly is probably going to be kept at a minimum because school is such a big stressor for me. And I'm somebody who thrives off of stress. I love to be constantly busy. I'm always trying to do different things, but school is such a negative, different type of stress where it wasn't on my own time. It wasn't like everything else that I was used to doing. And I get that this isn't going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people. And I understand that a lot of you are going, you're turning into every other YouTuber who dropped out of school. I have proven myself over the past 2 years that I can do this for real and that I will continue to do this for real. And yeah, sure, social media may not last forever, but I still have the skill set and the experience to be able to do this type of thing in other ways throughout my life. And I truly believe that. And anybody who knows me and knows the way that I operate and understands, like even just from me talking throughout this video, knows that this was the absolute best decision I could have made. I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to be able to go to Playlist Live, which I already bought a ticket to, and not worry about getting back in time for school. And I'd still have to miss school anyways. And like, I can't afford to do that, and it's already been 3 weeks into the semester. I feel such relief and inner peace right now that it's unbelievable. I have never been more sure of a decision in my entire life, and I'm glad that I waited until now because I don't regret staying in college all the times that I wanted to drop out before. But this is just the best thing for me now. I can take my health more seriously. I can eat better. I can work out more regularly. All these things that have been put on the back burner because I was trying to do school and work full time, not even sleeping in order to do that. And this doesn't mean that I'm going to stop learning. I can do that. It doesn't have to be through school. But with my current position and circumstances, as I just explained, I had zero free time to do anything at all. I was miserable. It was making me depressed. It was making me anxious. I felt like I was going to go insane. In community college, I did not have that same experience because it honestly wasn't as hard and there weren't as many things that went into that, like parking, and like it wasn't as big of a school or as overwhelming. Also, my business wasn't as it is now for me. It was more of just a casual, I make videos for a living. Now it's like, I want to take everything more seriously. Somebody like my brother who goes to Cal Poly and who is probably going to have a very traditional job and be extremely successful that way could use money for his tuition. Not me, who's like honestly gonna slack. Not that I'm trying to, but you just cannot juggle a full-time career and a full-time college student load at a university on top of having ADHD when like school doesn't come easy for me. If I was some sort of genius, maybe I could manage, but I'm not. And with all these health problems and other things going on, it's just kind of taught me that there are more important things in life sometimes. And sometimes that means making yourself happy. And I'm really excited to be able to do things now, like travel and read a book and chill out for once in a while, sleep in sometimes, and help other people and tap into that untapped potential on top of putting out some bomb merch, which is coming out. I really appreciate anybody who is going to support me in the comments on this for doing what I felt was right. And even my mom at this point, who is a teacher, backed me on this because she has seen my success with everything that I've done and she knows me and she understands my ADHD and now anxiety, and all this stuff happened for a reason. I've never overdosed on cold medicine and hallucinated and had a seizure before. That definitely didn't happen during the first couple weeks of school by accident. I've never had a close one get in a severe accident like that. This is what I've decided to do and I'm completely happy with it. I am completely sure about it. There's no doubt in my mind. So I hope you guys understand, and this video is not to promote people dropping out of college because I do think that education is important, but it's also not for everybody. I would suggest that if you feel it's not for you, you at least give it a try. Start at community college, take baby steps, because I'm sure glad that I did, because trust me, I was very reluctant to do so. Push through it, because there are a lot of opportunities when you do have a degree, but the opportunities that a lot of people want with their degrees, like I would be absolutely miserable working a desk job, working a 9 to 5, working for somebody else. And yeah, you can get a degree, never use it, do your own business, but like I'm doing my own business, working full time for myself right now, and I can always go back if I choose to do so. So I don't think I'm ruining my life by doing this. I think that I'm making a very educated and calculated decision. I honestly believe that I will be more successful because of this decision, and that will show in the upcoming next few months, as well as the next few years. And anyone in my personal life will be able to see that, and I'm gonna be a lot more genuinely happy. I have probably ranted for close to an hour on this camera. This is gonna be crazy for me to edit in maybe a longer video, so thank you so much for watching. Please thumbs this up and leave a comment below letting me know your thoughts. Doesn't matter if you support this. If you are a true alligator, you will, because this is what's best for me right now. Subscribe if you're new here, turn on post notifications. Also follow my social media. Check out my Patreon below, linked in the description box. I will have some fire photos on there coming up. Like, you just wait and see. I'm also going to be posting a lot of like additional videos that aren't on YouTube, which like I've done on there, but now I'm going to have a lot more time to do, as well as my YouTube channel, as well as everything. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later, alligators. Bye.